did not choose this path, and you did not design the mark yourself. Long before you understood identity, responsibility, or destiny, something was already resting on you. The sign on your left hand, whether visible to the eye or only felt in the spirit, has always been more than skin deep. It is not superstition. It is not imagination. It is not coincidence. This moment is not random. Heaven has narrowed its focus, and you are standing inside that focus right now. From early on, you sensed it. You noticed that you processed life differently. While others chased comfort, you chased meaning. While others blended in, you felt an internal resistance every time you tried to become invisible. Even when you succeeded externally, something inside you whispered, "This is not all you were made for." That whisper never left you. In your career, this mark showed up as tension. You worked hard, yet never fully fit into systems built on shortcuts, politics, or dishonesty. You may have lost opportunities because you refused to compromise values you couldn't even fully explain. Supervisors might have said you were too intense, too serious, or not flexible enough. But what they really sensed was that you carried an internal compass that could not be bent. In your finances, the mark expressed itself as cycles of pressure followed by unexpected provision. You learned how to stretch resources, how to survive seasons where logic said you shouldn't make it. You may not have been the richest in the room, but you were still standing when others collapsed under less weight. That endurance was training, not punishment. In your family life, you often played the role of the stabilizer. You listened more than you spoke. You carried emotional responsibility that was never officially assigned to you. When conflict erupted, people unconsciously looked to you to ground the room. And yet, when you needed support, you rarely felt fully understood. Have you noticed how often the strong are expected to stay silent? This mark has also shaped your inner world. You feel things deeply. Injustice troubles you more than it seems to trouble others. You cannot ignore suffering, even when it is inconvenient. You may have tried to numb yourself, to scroll endlessly, to stay busy, to distract, but the sensitivity always returned. That sensitivity is not weakness. It is discernment. There were moments when you questioned God privately. Why me? Why this weight? Why this isolation? Why this awareness? But understand this clearly now: heaven does not mark randomly. Heaven marks intentionally. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 16, verse 8. I keep my eyes always on the Lord. With him at my right hand, I will not be shaken. That promise is not poetic, it is structural. Marked ones are anchored ones, even when the ground moves, even when systems collapse, even when people walk away, you remain standing. That stability is not personality, it is placement. Picture an ordinary moment. You are sitting at your desk at work, listening to a meeting filled with words but empty of truth. Something inside you recognizes the disconnect immediately. You don't argue. You don't rebel. You observe. You store wisdom. That restraint is not weakness, it is preparation. Or imagine a family gathering where old emotional patterns rise again. Familiar tension. Silent expectations. This time, instead of absorbing everything, you pause. You choose peace over proving a point. You leave with your spirit intact. That shift is evidence of growth. Here is the hope you must hold on to: marked ones are never left unfinished. There is timing to revelation. Eagles are not rushed out of the nest. Strength is renewed before altitude is gained. You are not behind, you are being calibrated. So let me ask you directly, are you willing to stop seeing your difference as a burden and start recognizing it as responsibility? If this message speaks to you, like the video, Share it with someone who has always felt out of place, and subscribe to stay connected to what is coming next. And as a quiet declaration of alignment, comment 111 below. This is not a performance, and it is not for attention. It is a moment of recognition. When you type that number, you are not proving faith to people, you are acknowledging truth to yourself and signaling readiness in the unseen. What happens next will not be loud at first. It will appear as clarity, courage, and small but decisive shifts. Pay attention. The mark responds when you do. Joseph did not lose his place among strangers first. He lost it at home. Before the pit, before the chains, before Egypt, the isolation began at the dinner table. His own brothers looked at him and saw something they could not carry. His dreams exposed what was dormant in them, and instead of guarding him, they rejected him. Joseph was not attacked because he was weak. He was targeted because he was marked. He did not ask to dream differently. He did not ask to see further. Yet the gift inside him disrupted the balance of his family. Favor does that. Calling does that. It quietly rearranges relationships before it ever rearranges circumstances. When Joseph spoke what he saw, he was misunderstood. When he stayed silent, he was resented anyway. That is the paradox of being chosen. You are often judged no matter what you do. You know this pattern. Maybe not with a coat of many colors, but with expectations placed on you early. You were the responsible one, or the smart one, or the strong one. While others were allowed to fail, you were expected to hold it together. When you outgrew familiar roles, resistance appeared. Sometimes it was subtle, sometimes it was cruel. But it always left you feeling alone in rooms that were supposed to feel safe. Joseph's story continues into the pit, a place of abandonment where voices fade and questions grow loud. This is where many people break, but Joseph did not lose his identity there. He lost his illusions. He learned that proximity to people does not guarantee protection. That lesson is painful, but it is clarifying. Some of you had to learn it early through betrayal, neglect, or being emotionally unseen. Think about your everyday life. At work, you might be the one who carries extra responsibility without the title. You solve problems quietly, while credit goes elsewhere. You notice patterns others ignore. And when you speak up, you are told you're overthinking. Still, that familiar dismissal echoes something older, doesn't it? In family dynamics, you may feel like Joseph sitting among brothers who don't hear you. You love them, yet you sense distance. Conversations stay surface level. When you try to express your vision, your convictions, your boundaries, the room shifts. You learn to edit yourself for peace. But the dreams don't disappear. They just go underground. Joseph was sold, not killed. That detail matters. Rejection did not end his story, it redirected it. The same hands that pushed him away unknowingly sent him toward purpose. You may not see it yet, but some separations were necessary. Certain doors had to close because your future required new terrain. The scripture speaks clearly in the book of Genesis, chapter 37, verse 24. They took him and threw him into the pit. The pit was empty. There was no water in it. An empty pit is still a pit. There is no comfort in dryness, no reassurance, just space to think. Some of you are in that space now. Not dramatic suffering, but quiet isolation. Life looks functional on the outside, yet inside you feel suspended, waiting, wondering, asking why the people closest to you couldn't walk with you further. Joseph did not know the pit was temporary. He did not know it was a corridor. He did not know that his isolation was stripping him of dependency on approval. But heaven knew, and heaven knows with you. Here is where hope enters not as emotion, but as structure. The pit did not change Joseph's gift. It refined it. When he later stood before Pharaoh, he carried discernment shaped by solitude, integrity formed without applause, wisdom earned where no one was watching. Your current season may feel small, overlooked, repetitive. You might be managing bills, caring for family, doing honest work that feels disconnected from your inner vision. But the same God who tracked Joseph in a pit tracks you in ordinary days. No moment is wasted, no silence is empty. Let this settle: isolation is not evidence of abandonment. Sometimes it is evidence of assignment. You are being separated from voices that cannot travel where you are going. And though it hurts now, it will make sense later. Joseph did not stay in the pit, neither will you. What you are experiencing is not a pause in your story, but a narrowing of it. Fewer voices, fewer distractions, fewer illusions. When movement comes again, it will be precise, intentional, and irreversible. There comes a point where isolation is no longer about people leaving you. It becomes about you being able to hear. When the noise thins out, when conversations stop pulling at your attention, when familiar distractions lose their grip, something else rises: awareness. And awareness is dangerous because once you see clearly, you cannot pretend anymore. This is the stage many never talk about. After the pit, after the confusion, after the quiet endurance, there is a moment where you realize the struggle is no longer external. It is internal alignment. You begin to notice how often you have delayed decisions not because you lacked clarity, but because clarity demanded change. You feel this in ordinary life. At work, you recognize that you have outgrown a role, not because it is evil, but because it is small for what you now carry. You notice how certain tasks drain you, not physically, but spiritually. You start asking questions you avoided before. Why am I still here? What am I actually building? In finances, awareness sharpens too. You see patterns where money leaks, where fear drives decisions, where comfort has quietly replaced stewardship. You may not be reckless, but you sense you are not intentional enough either. The mark on you does not tolerate autopilot forever. At some point, it demands consciousness. In relationships, this awareness becomes uncomfortable. You begin to feel when connections are sustained by history rather than truth. Conversations repeat themselves. Growth feels one-sided. You no longer feel fed, but you keep showing up out of loyalty. This is where many people betray themselves slowly, not through dramatic sin, but through prolonged misalignment. And here is the tension once awareness comes. Neutrality ends. You cannot unknow what you know. You cannot unsee what has been revealed. Delay becomes heavier than movement. Silence becomes louder than action. Scripture speaks with clarity in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Notice what it does not say. It does not say every season lasts forever. It does not say every role must be endured indefinitely. Time itself is structured by God, and discernment is knowing when a season has expired. This is where fear often disguises itself as wisdom. You tell yourself you are being patient, but deep down you know you are being cautious because movement carries cost. Change risks misunderstanding. Obedience risks loss. And yet, staying where you are will eventually cost you more. Picture a normal evening. You are alone, phone face down, mind unusually quiet, no crisis, no drama, just a steady inner pressure asking for honesty. You think about the version of yourself you're becoming and the version you are still performing. The gap between them is what exhausts you. This section is not here to rush you, it is here to steady you. Awareness is not condemnation, it is invitation. You are not being punished for past choices. You are being prepared for cleaner ones. Here is the hope when alignment begins. Provision follows. Not always immediately, not always visibly, but direction itself is a form of provision. Peace begins to replace anxiety not because everything is solved, but because you are no longer divided inside. Some of you will make small but decisive changes. Boundaries and schedules, spending habits, conversations you've avoided. Others will feel called toward larger shifts, new paths, new disciplines, new forms of obedience that don't make sense to everyone around you. That's expected. Alignment often looks lonely at first. Let me ask you something directly. If nothing around you changed, but everything inside you became clear, would that be enough to move? This is the moment where response matters. Not loud, not dramatic, just honest. If this message meets you where you are, comment below with the phrase "season acknowledged." That phrase is a declaration of awareness. It means you recognize the season you are in. You accept that it has purpose, and you are no longer resisting what has been revealed. Awareness has found you for a reason. What you do with it determines what comes next. When you write "season acknowledged," you are not saying everything is easy or understood. You are admitting that resistance is over. You see where you are, why you are here, and you stop fighting the timing. Awareness replaces confusion, and honesty replaces delay. That phrase means you accept responsibility for discernment. You recognize this season is shaping you, not stalling you. You choose to learn instead of complain, to listen instead of numb, and to move when clarity replaces fear. Carrying light is not poetic when lived daily. It is practical, costly, and often misunderstood. Many people love the idea of being a light, but few are taught how to live with it without burning out. This section is not about inspiration alone. It is about instruction, quiet, grounded practices that allow you to walk forward without losing yourself. Practice 1. Identify the cost instead of denying it. Light always has a price, not someday now. The mistake many make is pretending the cost doesn't exist, calling exhaustion faith and overextension love. You feel this when your calendar is full, yet your spirit feels thin. You feel it when everyone relies on you, but no one asks how you are doing. In daily life, this looks like staying late at work repeatedly because you are the dependable one, even when it slowly erodes your peace. Or saying yes to family expectations because saying no would disappoint someone. Identifying the cost does not make you selfish, it makes you honest. Once you name the cost, you can decide whether you are paying it consciously or bleeding unknowingly. Light that refuses to acknowledge its cost eventually flickers. Practice 2. Learn to distinguish illumination from self-immolation. There is a difference between shining and setting yourself on fire. Illumination reveals truth. Self-immolation destroys the carrier. Many confuse the two because they were praised early for sacrifice. But constant sacrifice without replenishment is not holiness, it is neglect. You notice this line when helping turns into rescuing, when generosity turns into depletion, when being there means ignoring your own limits. In practical terms, this could be lending money you cannot afford to lose, or becoming the emotional dumping ground for others' chaos while your own needs remain unmet. Scripture offers clarity here. The ancient words recorded in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, remind us, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Notice what the verse does not say. It does not say destroy yourself so others can see. Light is meant to reveal God, not erase you. Practice 3. Learn to carry light without trying to save everyone. This is the hardest practice for marked ones. You feel responsible. You sense potential. You see what others could become. But insight does not equal assignment. Not every problem is yours to solve. Not every person is yours to carry. In everyday life, this looks like allowing co-workers to face consequences instead of fixing everything behind the scenes. It looks like letting family members grow at their own pace without dragging them forward. It looks like trusting that God works even when you step back. Carrying light without saving everyone requires humility. It accepts that your role is presence, not control. Direction, not domination. Influence, not exhaustion. Here is the hope woven through these practices. Light carried wisely lasts longer. You do not dim when you rest. You do not betray your calling when you set boundaries. You refine it. Picture a simple moment. You choose to go home on time instead of staying late again. You say no to one request and yes to stillness. You listen more than you explain. These are not retreats. They are recalibrations. Before you move on, pause for a breath. Some light is meant to be carried alone for a while. Some light is meant to be reflected. If this message steadied you, imagine it as a small flame placed in your hands. You can let it warm you quietly, or you can tilt it gently so another tired traveler can see the path. That is what it means to share not promotion, but passing fire without losing your own. And if you sense that this space has become a resting place rather than a performance hall, staying connected is like returning to the same well instead of digging a new one every time you're thirsty. That is what it means to subscribe, not obligation, but continuity. As for approval, it is not applause here, it is a nod in the dark. If something in you recognizes what was spoken, a simple like is the quiet signal that the light reached where it was meant to reach. No pressure, no demand, only recognition. Light always knows when it has found another keeper. Selection is rarely loud. Heaven does not announce it with crowds or ceremony. It happens quietly, through survival, through restraint, through the ability to remain intact when others fracture. This is where the phrase "one in a million" stops being symbolic and starts becoming personal. Because the filter is not talent, it is endurance with integrity. Many were invited to the same starting line you were. Many received opportunity, insight, even calling. But along the way, some chose shortcuts. Others chose bitterness. Some chose comfort over clarity. The path narrowed not because God excluded them, but because they stepped aside when the weight became real. You have felt this narrowing. Your circle shrank. Your conversations changed. Certain desires fell away without drama. You didn't announce it. You just couldn't go back. That wasn't pride. That was refinement. In everyday life, this refinement shows up subtly. You are no longer impressed by noise. You value consistency over charisma. At work, you notice that while others chase visibility, you are being trained in reliability. You don't need to be seen everywhere, you need to be trusted somewhere. That shift marks maturity. Financially, you may have noticed a similar pruning. Impulsive spending lost its appeal. You became more intentional, more disciplined, sometimes more conservative than peers. Not because you fear lack, but because you respect stewardship. You understand that provision is not just about inflow, it's about alignment. In relationships, the selection becomes even clearer. You no longer tolerate constant chaos disguised as passion. You value peace, not because you avoid conflict, but because you've survived enough of it. Some connections faded not due to arguments, But due to silence, growth created distance, and that distance protected you. This stage can feel lonely if misunderstood. You may wonder why fewer people can walk with you now. But here, this selection is not rejection. It is assignment specific. Not everyone is meant to carry what you are being prepared to hold. Scripture speaks directly to this principle. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 27. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. Notice the language chose. Selection is intentional, and often what is chosen looks unimpressive to the world. Quiet consistency, moral stamina, emotional restraint. These do not trend, but they endure. Think of a normal moment. You are faced with a decision no one else will ever know about. There is an easy option and a right one. No audience, no reward. You choose the harder path anyway. That choice does not go unseen. That is how selection operates, through private obedience. Here is the hope woven into this truth: being one in a million does not mean standing above others. It means being trusted with more weight. You are not elevated for ego. You are positioned for service, influence, and impact that lasts. This stage is not about rushing forward. It is about staying clean, steady, and responsive. The door you are approaching does not open for force, it opens for readiness. And readiness is proven over time, not declared in moments. Let me ask you plainly: if fewer people understand you now, but your conscience is clearer than ever, could that be confirmation instead of loss? If this message resonates with your journey, mark the moment not for attention, but for acknowledgement. Comment the number 4444 below as a symbol of stability, alignment, and foundation being set. That number is not magic. It is a reminder that what is being built in you is meant to stand. You are not filtered out, you are filtered in. When you write 444, you are not claiming perfection or arrival. You are acknowledging structure. It represents pillars being set, habits, values, and decisions that can carry weight without collapsing when pressure increases. That number also reflects patience. It signals that you understand real progress is layered, repetitive, and often unseen. You are choosing to build slowly rather than rise quickly, trusting that stability will outlast speed when the storms come. Most importantly, 444 is a quiet agreement with timing. It means you are willing to stand firm where you are until the foundation is complete, knowing that what comes next will not need to be rushed or repaired. There is a moment that arrives quietly after selection, after refinement, after the narrowing has done its work. It is the moment when pressure changes texture. It is no longer sharp or chaotic. It becomes focused, directional. This is where many expect immediate breakthrough, but instead, they encounter responsibility. You feel it as an internal weight. Not fear, not excitement, accountability. You begin to sense that your choices now echo further than before. Small decisions carry larger consequences. Words land heavier. Silence speaks louder. You are no longer moving only for yourself. In ordinary life, this shows up subtly. At work, you notice people watching how you respond under stress. Not because you are the loudest, but because you are steady. When conflict arises, eyes turn toward you without announcement. You are not appointed, but you are recognized. Leadership finds you before titles do. In your finances, restraint becomes instinctive. You no longer chase what flashes, you think long-term. You ask different questions: will this tie me down? Will this distract me? Will this limit my ability to move when called? This is not scarcity thinking. It is mobility awareness. In relationships, you feel a shift too. You listen more carefully. You speak less impulsively. You understand that encouragement can build, but careless words can fracture. You stop venting to people who cannot carry truth responsibly. You choose discretion over release. This is not isolation returning. It is stewardship beginning. Many misunderstand this phase. They assume something is wrong because life feels quieter, more serious, more intentional. But this is what happens when potential converts into trust. Heaven does not rush responsibility. It layers it. Scripture offers insight here. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 20. In a large house, there are articles not only of gold and silver, but also of wood and clay. Some are for special purposes and some for common use. The difference is not appearance, it is function. Some vessels are trusted with weight, others with frequency. Gold is not used casually, it is reserved. If you feel reserved right now, not showcased, not scattered, that is not neglect, that is designation. You may notice that certain temptations no longer attract you the way they once did. Not because you are superior, but because you are aware of consequence. You see how quickly distraction can derail alignment. You understand that not every open door is permission. This awareness can feel heavy at first. Responsibility always does, but it also brings peace. The chaos of indecision fades. You stop asking, "What do I want?" and start asking, "What is required of me here?" That question is quieter, but it is powerful. Picture a simple scene. You are asked for advice, not dramatically, casually. Someone trusts your judgment. You pause before answering. You consider impact. That pause is evidence of growth. That pause is leadership forming. Another moment you are alone, choosing how to spend an evening. No one would judge your choice. You choose rest over escape, reflection over noise. That choice strengthens you more than any visible success. This section is not meant to elevate you above others. It is meant to ground you within yourself. The higher the calling, the deeper the roots must go. Stability always precedes visibility. Here is the hope embedded in this season. Responsibility is never given without provision. You are not expected to carry what you are not equipped to hold. The same hand that trusts you also sustains you. If this season feels serious, focused, even a little lonely, understand this: it is not a withdrawal of grace. It is an expansion of trust. And trust, once given, changes everything. You are not waiting anymore. You are being relied upon. This reliance will not overwhelm you if you remain grounded. Strength grows quietly when you honor limits, protect clarity, and choose consistency over urgency. You are not meant to carry everything, only what aligns with your assignment and preserves your integrity. There will be days when responsibility feels invisible, when obedience produces no applause. Those days matter most. They train you to act from conviction rather than reaction, anchoring you in purpose even when outcomes remain unseen. As this season unfolds, expect discernment to sharpen. You will sense when to move and when to remain still. That inner steadiness is not hesitation, it is readiness taking its final shape. You have walked far enough now to understand something quietly profound. Being chosen was never about standing above others. It was about standing when others could not. It was about remaining intact when pressure tried to hollow you out. And now, without ceremony, without announcement, you are arriving at a threshold. This is the place where many stories end, but yours does not. It deepens. You may not feel crowned. There may be no applause, no sudden reversal, no visible confirmation yet. Most torchbearers are recognized last by the world and first by heaven. What you carry has weight, and weight is never given to those who need constant validation. In everyday life, this looks surprisingly ordinary. You wake up and choose consistency again. You show up with integrity when shortcuts are available. You listen before speaking. You leave rooms quieter than you found them. None of this trends. None of it goes viral. But it changes trajectories. At work, you are no longer trying to prove yourself. You are reliable. People feel safe bringing you complexity. You are trusted with matters others mishandle. That trust was not granted overnight, it was observed into existence. In your finances, you move with restraint and clarity. You no longer chase symbols of success to reassure yourself. You understand timing. You build slowly. You think generationally, even if you live simply. That wisdom did not come from books alone. It came from survival with awareness. In your relationships, you love with boundaries now. You are present, but not porous. You give, but you do not disappear. You understand that being available is not the same as being assigned. That discernment protects your peace and preserves your strength. There is a quiet authority forming around you, not dominance, gravity. People may not know why they listen when you speak, but they do. Light carried with humility always draws, never demands. Scripture speaks to this moment with gentle certainty. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Notice the phrasing, or not will be. Not hidden does not mean always seen. It means eventually undeniable. Light does not rush exposure. It waits for darkness to make its purpose obvious. You may still feel unseen. That is not contradiction, it is sequence. Hills are climbed gradually. Visibility increases with elevation, not announcement. Keep walking. This final section is not a conclusion. It is a recognition. You are no longer becoming, you are embodying. An embodiment is quieter than aspiration. Stronger. Harder to shake. If, as you listen, you feel something steady rather than stirred, something calm rather than excited, that is a good sign. Excitement fades. Steadiness remains. And if you sense a desire to stay near this kind of clarity, to return when the world grows loud again, that instinct is worth honoring. Some paths are meant to be walked alone for a season, then shared gently when others are ready. Sharing, in this sense, is not broadcasting. It is placing a lantern on a familiar road so someone else doesn't stumble where you once did. If a name or a face comes to mind right now, that recognition is already an invitation to share, not as promotion, but as care. Staying connected is similar, not obligation orientation, like returning to the same harbor when the tide changes. You don't live there permanently, but you know where it is when direction matters. That is what it means to subscribe. And acknowledgement matters too, not applause presence. A like is a quiet footprint, a sign that this light reached you without needing to announce itself. Finally, words carry weight, not many, just honest ones. Leaving a comment is placing your stone on the altar, saying without noise, I was here, I received, I am walking on. None of this is demanded. Light never coerces, it invites. You were never meant to convince everyone. You were meant to remain lit. And you are, even after the words end. The work continues quietly. You return to ordinary moments carrying uncommon clarity. Nothing dramatic changes at once, yet everything aligns subtly. Decisions feel cleaner, boundaries feel natural. You notice less urgency, more certainty, and a calm confidence settling where doubt once lived. When darkness presses again, and it will, you will not scramble for proof. You will remember this steadiness. Light that has matured does not flicker under pressure. It holds. And as you walk forward, others will find their way simply by watching how you remain. You don't need to decide anything right now. An open ending does not demand response, it allows reflection. Some words are meant to be carried forward. Others are meant to stay quietly where they landed. If something in this message was useful to you, you will feel it naturally. Not as urgency, not as pressure, but as a subtle nudge, like realizing a road sign mattered only after you passed it. In that case, sharing is not promotion. It is a form of care. You pass along what steadied you, trusting that it will meet someone else at the right moment, just as it met you. But if sharing feels unnecessary, that is also wisdom. Not everything meaningful needs to travel. Some truths are meant to be kept, not circulated. They become anchors instead of announcements. If a single line slowed your breathing, clarified a decision, or helped you feel less alone, that is enough. You don't owe the world a reaction. Open endings respect timing. They understand that growth doesn't always look like action. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like choosing differently tomorrow, without explaining why. Sometimes it looks like simply resting with what you've heard and letting it settle. You are allowed to take what resonates and leave the rest untouched. You are allowed to revisit these words later, when experience gives them new meaning. You are allowed to move on without ceremony. Nothing here requires agreement. Nothing here requires belief. What matters is what stays with you after the screen goes dark. If this helped, let it move outward naturally. If it didn't, let what touched you stay inward quietly. Both are valid endings,